recap of Monday Night Raw for March the 1st, 2021. A very eventful edition of Monday Night Raw, so we will get right to the recap. Shout out to the chat room watching this live and sending your feedback. I'll be reading off some of the comments. And if you are sending a super chat, I do appreciate it, but please try to stick to the topic. If you want to talk about the end of the show, save your super chat for the end. All right, let's get started. We kicked off with a recap of last week, the storyline between Bobby Lashley and The Miz. And then we had Drew McIntyre make his first appearance since the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. He commented on Sheamus. He said that he still doesn't understand being stabbed in the back. And he talked about their match, how they are going to beat the hell out of each other. And then he brought up Elimination Chamber and how he did not see the Lashley attack coming. He said that now, because of Lashley, The Miz, the freaking Miz, is WWE champion. But McIntyre said that he was going to regain his championship and main event WrestleMania. He said he's not going to get screwed at the finish line. He worked too hard for too long, won the title at the PC, held the championship during the pandemic, and he is determined to face the winner of Lashley versus The Miz, and whoever wins will have the biggest target on their back. This led to The Miz coming out, and he said he wanted a proper introduction as champion, so the announcer referred to him as the champ. The pyro went off, and Miz said that McIntyre should blame Lashley for the title change, and Miz was only doing what the Money in the Bank holder was supposed to do. And McIntyre knew what Miz was trying to do here. McIntyre said he's not going to do the Miz's dirty work. And if Miz somehow beats Lashley, well, in that case, Miz will have a problem with McIntyre. Miz, he said that he wants to know why Lashley is getting a title opportunity before McIntyre. And again, Miz trying to work McIntyre, saying that they should be a team. They should take out Lashley. And then MVP came out and said that he could see what's going on, and he wanted to know if Drew is taking it seriously or not. And Drew said that he doesn't want or need anybody's help. MVP then announced that the match would take place at 9 p.m. Eastern. 1 hour into Raw, so Miz would have roughly about 45 minutes. And then Sheamus arrived for his match with Drew McIntyre and said that Drew will not be in any shape to help anyone, and a brawl began. Got a $1 super chat by a username. I will not say it, but thank you for the $1 donation. I appreciate it. We had a brawl breakout between Sheamus and McIntyre, which led to the match after the commercial break. And by the way, that opening segment, there was a lot to digest there. A lot of stuff happening back and forth on the mic. After the commercial break, we had our first match, which was a hell of a match. These two guys beat the crap out of each other. Drew McIntyre even used Sheamus's own 10 beats on him. And Sheamus hit a bro kick, sending McIntyre to the outside of the ring. And then after that commercial, Sheamus had the upper hand. They fought to the outside, and then McIntyre made a comeback. He threw Sheamus on the announce desk. They got back in the ring. There were several near falls. And then McIntyre had a super white noise off the top for a near fall. Sheamus came back with an Alabama slam, got a near fall, and then he went for the bro kick, but as he was jumping up for the kick, McIntyre beat him to the punch with the Claymore, and scored the 1-2-3 victory. Match went over 20 minutes, a very lengthy Raw match. Hell of a match, one of the best Raw matches. I mean, it's got to be like top 5 since the pandemic started. Really good Raw match. I definitely recommend checking it out. Could have been on a pay-per-view. Unfortunately, WWE did not give these guys a pay-per-view one-on-one slot, but they did get to have a really strong match on television, and big thumbs up for this one. After the commercial break, we had Nia Jax confronting Naomi backstage. They had a match, and not a whole lot to say about it. It was pretty much a squash match. Naomi versus Nia. Nia hit a Samoan drop and then did a choke slam into a power bomb and scored the win. And keep in mind that Naomi and Lana, they still have a tag team title match at some point, which does anybody really think they are going to win the titles? I still think Naomi needs to get traded to Smackdown, so when Jimmy's back, we can have a full-blown faction with Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Naomi. Naomi representing the women's division for the Bloodline. We had a Rhea Ripley video package. She is still on her way. And then we had Bobby Lashley versus The Miz, or what we thought was going to be Bobby Lashley versus The Miz, at the 9 o'clock hour. And Miz did not show up for the match. We cut to the backstage area. Miz was complaining about cramps and said he needs a little bit more time. Lashley was pissed off. He ran to the backstage area. He grabbed Miz by the throat and said he's going to beat his ass later. And Adam Pearce told Miz that the title match will go on as scheduled at the 10 p.m. Eastern hour. So this was one of those Raws where WWE, they did the countdown at the beginning, the 45-minute countdown, and then they did another countdown for each hour to try and keep people tuned in and invested in the whole 3 hours of Raw. We'll see if it works or not, and they had a good reason to do it with what they were building towards, which I'll talk about in a few minutes here. We had Braun Strowman come to the ring. He cut a promo. He said that he thinks Adam Pearce and Shane McMahon have something against him. He said that the Elimination Chamber match sucked without him. He's pissed off. He's going to raise hell. And that's when Shane McMahon and Adam Pearce came to the ring. Shane talked about conflict resolution. And Shane announced a tag team match with Strowman teaming up with a mystery partner because Shane wants Strowman to work with WWE management. Literally, because Strowman's partner turned out to be Adam Pearce. And the match up against the Hurt Business, Shane said he was going to sweeten the pie and that this match would be for the tag team titles. And Strowman was like, whatever, but if Adam Pearce screws up, he's going to get these hands. Josh Mansfield sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Josh. Says, almost thought the Hurt Business was going to job to Braun Lesnar. Phew. Yeah, I almost thought this too. So basically what happened here is we had the tag match and Strowman dominated the whole match. In a way, yeah, it was looking like it was going to be a quick title change here. Strowman momentarily lost his momentum when he went into the ring post, but then he made a comeback, hit a power slam to Shelton Benjamin, was going to win the titles, but then Shane McMahon got on the apron and instructed Adam Pearce to tag in. So Pearce was tagged in, and Benjamin managed to roll up Pearce, and Hurt Business retained the tag team titles. Mr. Anderson says, who's a better partner, Adam Pearce or Nicholas? Well, clearly Nicholas was a better tag team partner. How many of us were thinking Nicholas was going to show up and be part of this match? I know I was. And after the match was over, Strowman yelled at Shane, saying he's going to wreck the place. He's even more pissed off now. Remember this for later. I'm just saying, remember this when we talk about Strowman later on. Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, you look like a skinnier, more pale Jesse Pinkman. Yeah, bitch. Yeah, Mr. White. Yeah, science. We had Elias backstage making a proposal to Bad Bunny. No, he was not asking Bad Bunny to marry him, but rather he wanted to do a single with Bad Bunny, which Bad Bunny turned down. What a dick. I mean, Elias is a great performer. Why not work together and collaborate and make some wonderful music? So Bad Bunny was just being a jerk here, in my opinion. So anyways, Elias, after the commercial, was in the ring, and he did his usual promo talking about being snubbed from the Grammys, and then Bad Bunny quickly interrupted again. What a dick. We had Elias versus Damien Priest. Fine match here. Jackson Riker was at ringside taking cheap shots when the referee was distracted by Elias. And then we had Priest make a comeback. He had a broken arrow for a near fall. Riker then got on the apron. And after some more back and forth moments, Priest finally picked up the win with the hit the lights, scoring the victory over Elias, who could not get the job done even with the interference of Jackson Riker. We had another recap of the Miz storyline, so WWE was really milking this for all it was worth. We had Randy Orton, and this was maybe the weirdest part of the show. Randy Orton was interviewed backstage, and he said he didn't know what the hell happened last week when he started coughing up that black goo. But he said he has no compassion for what's going to happen next. Then all of a sudden we had Alexa Bliss appearing on the screen. She was playing with a jack in the box, saying, "Bring it back." And then this is when it really got strange. A guy who was covered like a druid appeared on the screen and removed his hood. It was evil Randy Orton, demon Randy Orton. And you had Randy Orton in the Thunderdome looking at this television screen of himself, and the evil Orton was cutting this demonic promo, and Orton started coughing, and he went off camera, and who knows what happened. Really strange segment, although I'll give WWE creative points. I do know it's very polarizing. Some people thought this was great. Some people thought it was the worst thing they've ever seen. It was creative, I will say that much. What they need to do is the split screen, where Randy Orton is on the screen at the same time having a conversation with himself. That's the next step they got to take with this. And even do like a fight scene, like get a stunt double and have Randy Orton do a match with himself. Since we're in the pandemic and we're in the cinematic era of matches, we got to have like somebody wrestle themselves with an actual stunt double, and you can use the split screen technology. You know, if you watch the movies like Buffy, you'd have Buffy fighting herself and that kind of thing. Like, we got to get something like that. Marcus Metcalf with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, business is booming. Well, definitely the Hurt Business is here to stay. And when the Hurt Business is in town, business is definitely booming. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying this video, we got a pretty big turnout tonight. If you guys are enjoying the recap, please head over to youtube.com/AaronRiffNoDQ and click on that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you get the latest breaking news, wrestling updates as they become available. Back to Raw, we had what was, again, supposed to be the Miz versus Lashley. They got to the ring. Miz interrupted the introductions and said that Lashley has waited 17 years for an opportunity, but this isn't the right stage. They should be doing this at WrestleMania, at the grandest stage of them all. And MVP was like, F this. He said, ring the bell. The match started. Miz immediately got outside of the ring, grabbed his championship, and ran away. He literally ran up the stage and got counted out. I really enjoyed this. I know this was keeping people waiting and playing these games here with the Miz, but I mean, Miz was very entertaining in this, and I was even thinking to myself last week when Miz won the title, I was thinking Miz should come out and say they need to wait until WrestleMania. I was thinking in my head, even before that Raw, that Miz should try everything in his power to delay the match and say, well, we should fight at WrestleMania, and maybe even do the match and have Miz run away. So he's the chicken shit heel. He's a coward, and I was fine with it. I was just thinking, though, like at this point, I was thinking they have to do something big at the end, because if they do not deliver a title change or Brock Lesnar showing up or something crazy, people are going to be very unhappy. So they really had to go big or go home with this ending to Raw. Jonathan Spencer says, this is the best review show on the planet. Whole site, top to bottom, #1. Thank you for that, Jonathan. I very much appreciate the kind words from you. Let's go ahead and get back to the recap here. We had Charlotte come to the ring for a promo, and she said that she didn't want to be around the title picture when she returned. She had respect for Asuka as champion and just wanted to be her tag team partner. However, we got WrestleMania 6 weeks away, and nobody has stepped up to be Asuka's challenger. And therefore, she wants to face Asuka at WrestleMania. She showed the footage of Asuka's tooth being knocked out last week, which was really brutal. Shayna kneed her in the face or kicked her in the face, and Asuka's tooth fell out. She was not on Raw, and I think that was pretty much expected after last week. We had Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler interrupt, and we had Shayna basically say that Charlotte is all alone now. Nobody in the locker room likes her. And Nia Jax was saying that Charlotte is not going to be fast-tracked. She's not going to get on the yellow brick road to WrestleMania. And if Asuka does return, she'll be facing either Nia Jax or Shayna Baszler. They got in the ring. A fight broke out. 2-on-1 beatdown. And then after the commercial, we had our match. Charlotte Flair versus Shayna Baszler. Naomi and Lana were watching in the back. And despite Nia Jax's interference, Charlotte picked up the win here in a pretty quick match with the natural selection. Poor Shayna Baszler, after looking like a badass last week, knocking out the tooth of Asuka, she loses this Raw match to Charlotte. So pretty clear Charlotte's going to be in the title match at WrestleMania. The question is, will it be against Asuka, or will it be against Rhea Ripley, or will it be a triple threat? But I think it's pretty safe to say Charlotte's going to be in the title match. And by the way, a couple of comments in the chat room. I skipped over a segment, so let's rewind and backtrack here. Before the Charlotte stuff, Shane McMahon, and this is something I should not be forgetting about. Shane McMahon was backstage. MVP was there, Lashley. They were very upset. And Shane said that there will be one more match. And he's going to think of something to make sure that this match happens and there's no shenanigans. MVP was like, this is bullshit, man. He said the word bullshit, uncensored. Does that mean the Attitude Era is back? I don't know. But anyways, Shane said that he will consider stripping Miz of the championship and giving it to Bobby Lashley. Lashley, he just wanted Miz to be found. Miz was apparently hiding somewhere, and Lashley wanted to beat the crap or beat the piss out of The Miz. And then later, Shane McMahon told Adam Pearce that if Miz does not show up for the match, then Miz will be stripped of the championship and Lashley will be crowned the new champion. We had Retribution versus Matt Riddle and the Lucha House Party in a 6-man tag team match. T-Bar got some quick offense with a choke slam backbreaker, but in the end, the Faces made a comeback and Dorado pinned Slapjack. Pretty quick match here. And then after the match, Ali told Retribution to get out of the ring and told Riddle to get back in the ring. He wanted to show Retribution how it's done. So after the commercial, we had a one-on-one match, Riddle versus Ali. And basically, we had tons of outside interference. Slapjack got on the apron. Reckoning got in the ring. Ref was distracted. Mace started taunting Riddle, who was on the top. And Ali took advantage and hit this crazy move off the top, knees to the chest area, and pinned Riddle. And after the match, Ali told Retribution to follow his lead. Whole thing was dumb in my opinion, but whatever. I just want to see Retribution put to pasture. As I've said every week, I'm tired of it. So I guess we'll be seeing Ali versus Riddle for the title. Boy, oh boy. Mike B with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Mike B. Says, Nicholas is greater than Retribution. I would agree with you on that one. And I hate to say that because I like the Retribution members when they're not part of Retribution. I hate the faction. So I like Dominic Dijakovic. I like Ali. I like Mia Yim. I like Mace. Hell, I like Slapjack. Shane Thorne. But I think they need to drop the gimmick. They should have dropped the gimmick a long time ago. But hey, according to Dave Meltzer's readers, Retribution is not the worst gimmick in wrestling in 2020. In 2021, well, 2020, but in 2020, the worst gimmick in wrestling, according to Dave Meltzer's readers, it's the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. So there you go. I thought Retribution was far and away the worst gimmick of all time. Well, not all time, but worst gimmick in a long time. But apparently, other people disagree. We had our main event finally, but before that, The Miz confronted Shane McMahon and said WWE needs him as WWE champion. He can do anything. He can do the media appearances and whatnot, and he deserves to go to WrestleMania in the main event. He deserves respect. We then had our match finally. Miz grabbed his championship looking like he was going to run away again. But then Shane McMahon came out and said that this match would be a lumberjack match. We had pretty much all the Raw guys come to ringside, including Braun Strowman, which really made no sense because Strowman was pissed off, and why is he cooperating and helping out Shane McMahon? Like, it made no sense to me whatsoever. He was just a willing participant out there as some random lumberjack. Yeah. So anyways, Miz tried to use the championship on Lashley. That did not work. He tried to take a cheap shot. That did not work either. And then he got tossed to the outside. And he tried to plead with the various heels. But there's no honor amongst thieves because the heels were like, nope. They threw Miz back in. Lashley beat the crap out of the Miz. And he hit a flatliner on Miz, threw some punches, hit a spine buster, and then finally put the hurt lock on Miz. Miz tapped out. We have a brand new WWE champion, Bobby Lashley, after the better part of a year, Lashley being booked like an absolute tank, like a main eventer. Lashley is finally the champion. Right decision here. Lashley versus McIntyre, WrestleMania, bring it on. But we still have Fastlane, and we'll have to see what happens at Fastlane. After the match was over, Lashley celebrated, but then we had Lashley go after Miz again, put the Hurt Lock on him once again, and then celebrated, and that was the end of Monday Night Raw. Put his foot over the Miz, dominant champion. Congratulations to Bobby Lashley. Finally, after all the crap he's been through with the sisters, that storyline with Sami Zayn, the Lana storyline, finally, Lashley has been booked the right way, and now he's the champ. And Dagoon21 with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. He says, finally, Lashley sits on top where he belongs. Congrats to the second ever African-American WWE champion. Hashtag almighty. That's right. After Kofi Kingston, the first African-American or second African-American WWE champion, if you're not counting The Rock, I mean, full African-American champion. So yeah, that's definitely a big deal, and hopefully he doesn't lose the title now in 7 seconds, which I don't think he will. I think there's a good chance McIntyre wins the championship back at WrestleMania, but you know it's going to be a hell of a fight, and it ain't going to be some 9-second match. 7-second match. Whatever it was. I was there, and basically if you blinked, you missed it. Mike B with a $5 super chat says Aaron T-Bar versus the fake T-Bar at WrestleMania. I'm not going anywhere near Tampa, Florida. Like I told you guys, until I'm vaccinated, I ain't going to any events. Otherwise, I'd consider it. I would be up for a match with T-Bar, even though I'd probably get my ass kicked. It'd be like Homer Simpson versus Frederick Tatum. I would be there to get the payday and take the punches and hopefully not die from the punches. So Raw was a very eventful show, and WWE did deliver with the title change at the end, setting up the likely match of Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. We just got Fastlane. Maybe it's a triple threat. Maybe Miz gets one more opportunity, and Bad Bunny perhaps costs him the match. But yeah, this was absolutely the right decision, and WWE milked it for all it was worth. We'll see if they can pop that rating. If they get the big rating for Raw, they often lose viewers throughout the 3 hours, almost every time actually. It'll be interesting to see if Raw viewership holds up throughout the 3 hours. Let's go ahead and do the letter grade. Good show this week. I give it a solid B. Entertaining Raw, definitely above par, and a very noteworthy show. Couple things I might have done differently. Minor parts of the show, not the main stuff with Lashley. Everything with Lashley and Miz was done very well. But, I don't care about the retribution stuff. So there were a few stinkers on this show. Overall, though, very entertaining. Seeing a lot of B's in the chat room. MVP Kev, Michael Wayne, CC Drink, Matt Helms, Brandon, all give it a solid B. Luis Ortiz, Matt, and Kinto give it a B+. Nashan Johnson with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, Bobby versus Brock? ? I don't think Lashley and Brock is going to happen at this WrestleMania. I sense Lesnar's not coming back. My gut feeling is it's going to be McIntyre versus Lashley. Now, who knows? Things could change at any time. I think all it takes is a nice payday, and Brock Lesnar will get into the country, and it'll happen. But my feeling at this time is it's going to be a one-on-one match. They could do a triple threat. Lesnar comes back and they do the triple threat. But, if Lesnar is going to come back, you want to see Lesnar versus Lashley one-on-one. I think that would be a better match than doing a triple threat. But a triple threat would keep it a little bit more unpredictable and keep people guessing. However, I think if Lesnar's coming back, he's going to come back for a singles match. Just my take. Maybe later this year. Never say never. I still want to see Lashley versus Lesnar, as a lot of people in the chat room do. Mod W says it would be better without the title. And yeah, with Lesnar in Canada, I think he could make it work. The question is, does he want to make it work? Does he want to come back and wrestle a half-capacity show? And speaking of that, we don't even know, like, what the deal is with tickets. It's March 1st now. We're 6 weeks away from WrestleMania, and nothing. WWE has not said anything about tickets. I mean, clearly they're going to wait until the absolute last minute that they can before they announce the ticket sales, just because they want to know what they can and cannot do and see how the COVID numbers are looking. It's going to be tough for them to do more than the Super Bowl. Like, they'll probably try to do 30,000, but I mean, Comic-Con got canceled in San Diego. Now, granted, that's California, and Florida is more open about doing these events with big crowds. But yeah, I mean, big events, concerts are being canceled like into the summer. This is stuff going well into July. We did have the Super Bowl with fans, and WWE will say, well, they did it, why can't we? But yeah, it's interesting that nothing's been announced yet. Hopefully soon, so people can make their plans if they want to go to it. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your viewership and support. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com, and keep in mind, I will be back throughout the week. And on Sunday night, we got the AEW Revolution pay-per-view. We're planning to do predictions. Stay tuned for that. And again, if you subscribe, turn on the notification bell, you'll get the updates as to when we're going live. And if there's any breaking news happening, you'll find out right away. Take care, everybody. Be safe, stay positive, but not COVID positive. And I will see you all next time.